Yo, we back. We're building the Adventure Time Treehouse today. I am very fucking excited for this. This is going to be an awesome build. It's cozy and let's just dive right into it. The Adventure Time Treehouse is a classic build. I've probably built this in Minecraft 20 times, but this has definitely been the best one. It's been the one that I put the most effort into, and it is luckily the one I recorded. So I started on the root. I wanted to get the shape of the tree because I was really worried about the scale of the tree, as it's a really massive tree. I also set up a little stand with Magic Man, BMO and James Baxter. Started with the right side of the tree because it has a little root that curves around the front, and it also has a left tree, and I went around the back just to get the shape of it done. I was really stressing out of how big this tree is going to be and how big I needed to make it, but I also made their little pond next to their front door. This pond is really cute. I put some lily pads in there as well and a little path to go around it. I started setting up some logs to see where I would put the house, the entrance, and then I got back onto the tree. And the tree was definitely the hardest part of this build. It took me ages to do, and you know, it has more branches in the show. It has 3 branches and I only did 2. So that wasn't as optimized as I could have probably done it, but it's okay as it came out very nice. I also got distracted while building and found a sleeping fox next to my tree, so I went down there and I started building him a little incove, but he woke up and escaped. So I finished building him his little incove, and I think I went and got him and leashed him to there so I could have Mr. Fox, who is also in the show. And I should probably take this time to drop some lore on Minecraft and Adventure Time. They have a series together and I have all of the pop vinyls because I'm cool like that. And I wanted to start with the treehouse because firstly it was suggested by one of my friends and commenters. And it's actually a really cool design. It was made by a person called Ghost Shrimp, who was on the original Adventure Time design team. He did a lot of cool things, including like the farmland world and Princess Bubblegum's Candy Castle and things like that. He's an extremely talented designer, and I've followed his designs closely for ever since I can remember following Adventure Time for, really. Adventure Time to me was like one of the greatest shows coming up. It really encapsulated the trauma of being a young boy and, you know, having loss and not fitting in and stuff like that. So that show really resonated with me. So I've always been into it. So I'm glad that I could bring this build to YouTube. I started doing these leaves with wool, and I was going to incorporate green leaves as well to make it look like it's moving. This took an astronomical amount of time. It sped up like 7 times and it still takes ages. I ended up like having to change my shift button because my pinky was hurting from going down too much. So if that tells you anything about this build. But I started to finish that up. I did incorporate the leaves because I have a mod that makes the leaves flow in the wind, and it makes it look like it's got a little motion and texture, so I definitely liked that. I then went and added another of the branches. I wasn't too happy with how the leaves were looking, so I went and textured it a bit more, and then added some lighting around the place. I should have done this on peaceful, as there were heaps of mobs just inside of the tree this whole time. I then went and finished up on the 3rd branch. This would be finishing off the leaves for the whole build. The leaves alone took me like an hour and a half. I then went and built the little flag that you can see on the top right of their treehouse. I wasn't sure how to get the metal look that I wanted, as all of the metal things weren't looking nice, so I ended up using a birch. Then I went and added some of these windows. I've also got the Adventure Time Resource Craft mod on as well, so it looks like Adventure Time. So this blue tinted glass looks amazing and looks exactly like the glass that they have. Although their glass is sometimes blue, sometimes yellow, depending on the time of day. But yeah, I went and moved on to the house. The house was tricky because I wasn't sure if I was going to build the interior of the design today. I did not end up doing that, so I just started to build the entrance bit of it. I think that I'm going to do the interior design of the treehouse in another episode. But I finished that up. I added a little bit on the outside as well, just to make it look like it was blended into the tree properly. I added some planks on the inside as well for their little treasure room, and connected it to the path that curved around the pond. And everybody knows the Adventure Time treehouse has these little slinky walkways between the leaves. And I went and added one up there towards the windows, and one curving around the side as well. And then there is also one path that goes around the middle of the tree with some fencing. And so I went and put all of that in, and it's really starting to come together now. One of the last big steps to do is the boat that you can see in the top left. The boat has a gradient of red and white, so I started on the bottom with the red wood and then put birch on top of it to give that gradient look. And then put slabs over it to add a little edge to it. I then needed to put the umbrella. I wanted to use beds as I saw that there were red and yellow beds that I could use, and then figured out what concrete was. So I used concrete instead in conjunction with the beds, and I thought that looked really nice. And one of the last steps here we have is just building the well. The well is just a little final touch, you know. I also added a chimney up at the top with some cobwebs coming out of it, and that should be just adding the final touches there, just adding some grass and some fencing, and that is it. I think this build came out so good. I am a huge fan of Adventure Time, and building this was super fun. It took me about 4 hours to do, so it took me ages, but it turned out amazing. I really think that it looks really similar, and I thought I wasn't going to get it similar at all, so I'm really happy with that. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching the video. This build was really fun. I intend to be making more like cartoon and anime based builds like this of locations that I enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoy that as well, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. See ya.